Thank you. Mr. Khan, we've had a previous conversation that I'd like to raise with you here because it involves a particular situation that we've had in Rhode Island. Medicare reimbursement levels are set by CMS, and some time ago they put together what they called an imputed rural floor, which is tedious bureaucraties, but it set a floor on how low hospital reimbursements could go. It left out some areas like Rhode Island because we don't have rural hospitals.
Do we know how many Democratic senators are actually in the hearing tonight?
Somebody's off mute. There we go. So we don't get the benefit of the rural floor. So for a long time, CMS basically imputed a rural floor so we would stay even. Now, Rhode Island has always been reimbursed at lower rates than nearby. But CMS Director Verma unilaterally, without procedure, undid the imputed rural floor. That affected Rhode Island, Delaware, and New Jersey hospitals. A bit of a redo adjustment was made in FY 2020, for FY 2020. That actually made it worse for Rhode Island. We went from a reimbursement rate of 1.0445 down to 1.0371. So the situation that we face right now, this is Rhode Island, this is Connecticut, this is Massachusetts. In Connecticut, hospitals are paid at a reimbursement rate of 1.3525. And I hope I can ask you, Mr. Khan, to agree that 1.3525 compared to 1.0371 is about a 30% premium.
Yes.
Mathematically, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then you go over here to Bristol County, Massachusetts, and they're paid 1.2868 compared to 1.0371. That's about a 25% premium. Would you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and here's St. Anne's Hospital, which is 5 minutes from the Rhode Island border in Massachusetts. And here's Bacchus Hospital, which is probably 20 minutes from our Westerly Hospital. So you have hospitals that are like 5 minutes to 20 minutes apart from our borders, and we're on the losing end of a 25% or 30% reimbursement gap. I've spoken to Ms. Verma about it over and over again. We get no place. They have pretended that they're going through a process of reconsidering the whole thing, but you can't do that in government without leaving a trail of Administrative Procedures Act steps. There is no such trail. My belief is that I've just been lied to by Administrator Verma. I've had her senior staff in, her career people in. They agree that they can't justify this and that a discrepancy so geographically close and so severe is inexcusable and wrong. I've had political staff come through the Finance Committee, and they've agreed that they can't justify this, that it's wrong, that there is no excuse. I've gone over this with Secretary Azar in Finance Committee hearings, and he says, nope, there's no justification for this. Could you, on behalf of OMB, I know you've had a few days to look into this, let me know, is there a justification you have for why Rhode Island hospitals should be paid 25% or 30% less than hospitals just right across the border in nearby Connecticut and Massachusetts? And what is OMB's stance in all of this? And what do you know about why Ms. Verma is making things worse and worse for Rhode Island, Delaware, and New Jersey hospitals rather than correcting something that both Azar and career folks and political people passing through all agree is indefensible? Why is this not changing? What do you know about it? And by the way, it's $28 million for Rhode Island's hospitals in a single fiscal year that got knocked out by the imputed rural floor change. $28 million is a lot, particularly while we're trying to keep hospitals like afloat through the coronavirus. This is a real blow, and the fact that we can't get taken seriously by Ms. Verma is, particularly when nobody defends her decision, is really tiresome. So if you could answer that, take your time.
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse. I know that this is a very important issue for Rhode Island, and I have read many of the letters you've sent to the administration on this topic.
I have been prolific, I will agree.
I am familiar that the 9 hospitals you mentioned, I pulled up those comments that they have stated that they've lost $28 million due to this wage index. Our budget proposes comprehensive wage index reform, and we look forward to working with you to consider how we address some of these inequities in the Medicare hospital payment adjustments system. Regarding anything I know, that I am not familiar with the specifics of what happened at CMS, but I commit, Senator, to working with you to getting to the bottom of this. And our budget proposes a reform proposal, and would very much welcome working with you on how do we modernize the hospital payment system here.
Any chance we get any of the money back that you guys, this administration unilaterally knocked out of our?
I'll check with CMS. I don't know the back and forth of what led to this, and
Okay.
unsure what legal authorities we have, but Senator, you have my word that I will look into this and get back to you.
All right, well, Mr. Chairman, you can imagine how annoying and frustrating this is. I don't think there's a margin this big anywhere in the country. I don't think there's any excuse for it. The promise that somebody's going to work with me and get back to me, we hear that all the time. None of those promises mean a thing. It's just immensely frustrating to me that I have to deal with this. And as you can imagine, if you're paid a 30% premium at Bacchus Hospital compared to Westerly Hospital, and they're 20 minutes apart, you're going to be able to pay nurses more. You're going to be able to invest more in new equipment. You're going to be able to keep up the hospital better. You're going to be able to pay doctors more. You're going to be able to support the doctors who have hospital privileges better. You're going to be able to do all of that a lot better. And we're on the losing side of that. And there's no justification for it that anybody can offer. None. People admit that it's wrong. And this has been since October of 18. Since October of 18. So forgive me for being a little bit impatient. But our hospitals really need the revenue. We all need to be treated fairly at this time. And being spun and told that we'll get back to you is what I've had 2 years of now. So forgive my frustration.